Most High in Christ bless. I'm Sister Odessa from the House of Soldier Timothy, IOIC Japan. Today, the topic is Home is where service begins, balancing priorities. Before we get started, let's break down a couple of definitions. According to Merriam-Webster, the word service means the action of helping or doing work for someone, and priority is something that is regarded as more important than another. Now let's see how these play a role in our lives. Now let's jump into the first topic, which is serving your household first. First, let's talk about serving and attending to our household's needs before we put works in the body. Our homes should be our first priority, and if we don't take care of our household, how can we genuinely serve others? The first scripture I want to reference is 1 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 5, and it states that if a man does not know how to rule his own house, he cannot take care of the church of God. So we usually hear the prophets bring the scripture out when referring to the men setting their household in order before the church. But I wanted to use the scripture in the sense that the Lord tells us that first we need to consider the ways of our household before we do the church. And by attending to our home first, we create a strong foundation that supports our other responsibilities. Especially as young daughters of Sarah, we should get into the routine of making sure we prioritize our household as we are striving to be Proverbs 31 women. And if we go to Proverbs 31 and verse 27, it says, "She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness." So we see one of the roles of a Proverbs 31 woman is that she looks well to the ways of her household, which means she is prioritized in her household and always has it at the forefront of her mind. And the last part of that verse says, "She eateth not the bread of idleness." What is idleness or idle? It refers to a person avoiding work or lazy. So the Proverbs 31 woman should not be idle, and we'll touch more on that later. Now this will lead me into my next topic, which is the importance of serving in the body. Now let's shift gears a bit. It's very important to put works in the body and to be a part of many offices. Being active and serving others is fulfilling and necessary as we are in this truth. However, we must remember that our households come first. The first scripture that I want to reference is Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 to 24. "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ." Now when we dedicate ourselves at home, that dedication naturally bleeds into our service in the body. It's all interconnected. And we can go to Titus chapter 3 and verse 8. "This is a faithful saying, and these things I will that thou affirm constantly, that they which have believed in God might be careful to maintain good works. These things are good and profitable unto men." Now I'm going to branch out a little bit and kind of give a story time from my own personal experience. So there was a time when I was really struggling to balance my household duties and my responsibilities in the body. I wasn't doing chores and I wasn't putting the household first. So my parents, noticing this, had no choice but to remove me from my offices until I proved that I could stay organized and manage my time wisely. Even though it was a tough lesson and I did really miss being in the offices, it really helped me understand the importance of making sure I prioritize the household. And once I got my act together and started balancing my duties properly, I was allowed back into my offices. Now I always make sure to put my household first, which in turn helps me more effectively balance out other roles in other areas. Now this will lead me into my last topic, which is priority management and knowing your limits. So lastly, let's talk about priority management. Balancing household responsibilities and service in the body requires solid priority management skills. You have to know your limits. If you already have a lot on your plate, it's okay to say no to additional tasks given to you. Don't pile on more than you can handle.
The most successful people, what they focus on is not time management, it's priority management. Yes, they have a to-do list, but you're not going to get through that 200, 300, whatever amount of items that grows on your to-do list every single day. But what are the 3 or 4 things on that list that will give you a big win? So when you came home at the end of the day and somebody asked you, how was your day? You're like, I crushed it. I won today because I got those few things done.
Priority management, as explained in the video we watched, is important so that you can delegate what is most important. Once you can prioritize, time management will fall right into place. The scripture that I want to go to is Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. So we need to recognize what we can realistically manage and stick to it, because it's all about balance. The last thing you want to do is to give too much effort and energy into something when it can be used for something else. We always need to be sure that we're putting the right amount of energy into what we need to be putting it into, and that's something that I've learned along this short journey of priority management. And also remembering the title, Home is Where Service Begins. So prioritize your household, balance your duties, and manage your time wisely. By doing so, you'll find that you can serve both your home and the body more effectively. So that I say shalom, most high, grace bless.
They're coming for you, they're coming for me, a nation, a whole family. We know the word and what it says, don't be afraid. They killed the prophets, destroyed the seers, from Greece to Babylon, now here across the bear.